So hello again. We'll solve now exercise 2, which is the maximum of 3 integers. So they are asking us to write a program that reads three values, integers a, b, and c from the keyboard, and then we should display the maximum of the three values. We need to write 4 versions. So first we should use if and else and a max auxiliary variable. In the second part, we should use multiple if and else's, but without any help variables. And the third one, the conditional operator, and we can use one auxiliary variable. And last, again, conditional operator, but without any help variable. So let's begin first. So we need to declare three variables a, b, and c. The user should enter these three variables. So we tell him, please enter three integers, and then we have a scanf. So we use integers, so either d or I, and address of a, address of b, address of c. So this is common for the 4 parts. The first part, so they are telling us, please use if and else. So place blocks here. You can use multiple if and else, but not inside of each other. This is the part 2, and you can use a helper force variable, which is an auxiliary variable, and it's called max. So it's easy to think that whenever we want to try to find the maximum, and we have already solved such examples, such exercises in the first semester, is that we need to work in incremental manner. So we don't, if I have 100 numbers, I will not find the maximum directly in the 100 numbers. I will work 2 numbers at a time, or 1 number at a time. For example, I will check the first number, the second number, the third number, so 1 at a time. So for this, first we will check just a and b, and we will find the maximum. So we will find the maximum between a and b, and then we will find it with between c and the maximum from a and b. So how can we know who's the bigger here? So I need to check. So I just check whether a is greater than b. So if a is greater than b, it means that max is a. Otherwise, else, it means the max is b. So it's capital, okay, because c is sensitive, case sensitive. So here, max contains the maximum between a and b, and now I calculate the maximum between c and max. So max, there's an autocorrector here and it's really bothering. So if, for example, c is greater than max, it means that c is maximum. Otherwise, else, I will just put here a comment. So c is max. Otherwise, max is max. So what's the purpose here? If you already followed me in the course, there is no need to write this else, because I will do nothing. There's nothing that will change, because max, it will remain max. So this is here, it's not necessary, because I will write nothing. I will not write max equal to max. So more, I will write like this. So if c is greater than max, I will place in max the value of c. Again, I will not write like this, max equal to max. This is obvious. Max won't change if it's the maximum. So I will not write this, because max will remain the maximum between a and b. So at the end, I will print the maximum between the three values. So the maximum between percentage d, and percentage d. So a, b, and c is equal to percentage d backslash n. So the first percentage d is for A, the second for B, the third for C, and the fourth for max, and semicolon at the end. Let's run this program and see if we have some errors. So the program is asking us to enter 3 integers. So let's say 1, 2, 3. So the maximum is equal to 3. We have chosen, so it's here because C is equal to the max. Let's take another one where B is the maximum. So 2, 5, 3. Enter. So the maximum is 5. So we have reached here. Let's run it where A is the maximum. 7, 3, 4, and it's 7. So it's here. So we have seen that all our code is running. We have reached all the instructions in the if and else. So it's correct, and this is it for the first part. So again, we have worked just with 2 variables at first, and then we will work 1 variable at a time. And yes, again, there's no need to write an else here because max will remain the max. So the second part, they're asking us to write if else and if inside else, but we should not use any helper variable, so we are not allowed to use the maximum here. So how can we find the maximum between the variables? So if you look well at the end, we will have either the maximum is equal to A, either the maximum is equal to B, either the maximum is equal to C. So at the end, let's say that I have 3 possible outputs. So when the output is when the A is maximum, so if you have 3 numbers A, B, and C, so when you will see that A is maximum is when A is greater than B and A is greater than C. So let's write it another way. So we will remove this. So when A is greater than B and A is greater than C, it means that A is the maximum. So the maximum between them is equal to, not the maximum is equal to A, because the fourth percentage D, it will be replaced by the value of A because A is the maximum. So let's say else. Else, it means that A is not the maximum. So we have just 2 cases. So either B is the maximum or C is the maximum. So again, we'll have an if. So if B, for example, is greater than C, you can write C is greater than B. So it's just that at the end we will have 3 printfs. So if B is greater than C, it means that the maximum is B, because A, from here A is not the maximum, so it's either B or C. So if it's B, so if B is greater than C, so it's B. Otherwise, there is no other solution. Forcibly, it will be C. Let me repeat. So here we are not allowed to use any auxiliary variable. So we are obliged, and they are instructing us to use multiple if and else and inside of each others. So we think about what kind of output can we have. So there's just 3 possibilities. So either I will output the value of A as maximum, either the value of B or the value of C. So when A is maximum is when A is greater than B and C. So A greater than B and A greater than C. Just remark here, the greater, the all comparison operators, they are binary operators. It means they take 2 operands. A greater than B greater than C. This is wrong. Wrong, completely wrong. There is nothing like this. This is in math. It's okay. It's very nice to see it on a paper, but on a PC, on a compiler, this is ununderstandable. You cannot understand this. It's wrong. Let me put it here, and I will copy paste this, just in case we will go return to it, and let's run it. We will have. Let's enter 3 integers. I will say 754, and then it will end with 5, because this one it's not like we are intending to do. It's A greater than B, and the value, then we will compare it with C. So this is not a comparison between A, B, and C. This is like this. This is A greater than B, and then check if A is greater than C. So this is not what we intend to do. So please make attention to use the logical operator AND. So let's run it. Again, let's give 7, 6, and 5. And so the maximum is A, so we are here since 7 is greater than 6 and 5. Let's run another one. 5, 7, 6. So here we have 7, which is B. We are here in this condition. Because when we reach here, it means A is not the maximum, so 5 is not the maximum, and then we will calculate the maximum between 7 and 6. So let's say here now 5, 6, 7. So A, which is 5, is not the maximum. We'll calculate the maximum between B and C. So we are here, and this is the solution of the second part of the problem. So the third one is to use conditional operators and a max variable. So we will use again a max variable here, and we should use conditional operators. So conditional operators is the operator with the question mark and the colon. So again, as we have worked in the first part, we will try to find the maximum first between the A and B, and then to check the maximum between the maximum, which is between A and B, and C. So if you remember, the conditional operator, it returns a value. So and we already covered this in the course. So if A is greater than B, I'll put a question mark, and then this is the positive part. So if A greater than B, who's the maximum here? So it's A. Otherwise, I put a colon, it's B. So in max now, I have found the maximum between A and B. Next, I will find the maximum between max and C. So again, I will put max is equal here, not minus. So who's bigger here? So we have maximum greater than C. So if maximum is greater than C, who's the maximum? So it's maximum, otherwise it's C. And at the end, I will print the maximum. So it's too bad that I have erased the printf, the maximum between percentage D, let's say percentage D, and percentage D is equal to percentage D. So the first one is A, B, C, and max. Let's run it and see if it's correct. 5, 6, 7. So it's equal to 7. So because 7 we are here, let's take another example. So you should be acquainted with these kind of problems. So we have 7. In the fourth part, we are not allowed to use any helper variable. However, we can use conditional operators. So we cannot use this ones. So what can we do? The most obvious part is to remove this and place it somewhere in the printf. However, it's not that easy, and it will be very difficult to understand. However, we will do it because we are asked to. However, we in the exams and midterms and finals, we do not force you to use any kind of operators. You are free to choose any one that suits you, even if conditional operator or the switch. So how can we solve this if I will not use the variable max? So how can I find the maximum? So here, let me erase. I should write something, a condition, and then a positive part and a negative part. So let me put all this in between brackets. So what could be the question? So of course we will do some comparison between the variables a, b, c, and c. So let's say that we compare, for example, b is greater than c. If b is greater than c, because I will continue with a later, so who's the bigger here? So b is big and c is small. So in this instruction, I have found the maximum between b and c. So this is the second part. However, the first part, I will do the maximum. I can do the maximum between a and b or c. If you don't want to do this, you can start with a and b. So you find the maximum between a and b. So this is the maximum, and then it will return a maximum, and then I will again do a test with the maximum. So I will say if, for example, C is greater than the value returned from this, the answer would be C, otherwise it would be either A or either B. So this is it. I should put here, it's tricky, right? So again, if C is greater than the maximum between A and B, so the value is C. Otherwise, it will be the maximum between A and B. So let me be sure that the instruction is correctly parenthesized. So this is one here and this is one here. So let's run it. It's not that easy, I admit. There's something missing. Let me, this is opened, closed, opened, closed, open and closed, and this is open and closed. We have semicolon. We have one bracket for the printf, right? Run. So let's enter 3 integer, 3, 4, 5. Of course, the C will be the maximum, so we are here. Let's take another example where A is the maximum, 5, 4, 3. Run. Enter. So it's 5, 1 for B, 4, 5, 3, and for B. So let me repeat because it's not that obvious. So what we have done is that we have compared two variables A and B. So we have checked who's the bigger, A or B. So here we will get either the value of A, either the value of B. And then we will compare it with C. If C is greater than the maximum between A and B, I will print C. Otherwise, I will print the maximum between A and B. So I will do the test one more time. It takes much more time and it's not readable, it's not understandable. Look, it's not that easy to understand, and I admit, and we do not oblige you to use this kind of operators, but however, we need to do exercises because maybe later when you work, when you go to work, you will encounter some such expressions, and it's important to know how to use these conditional operators. So this is it for this exercise. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to send it to me or comment on the video. And again, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and to hit the bell icon to receive the notifications. And thanks for watching.